Hey do-gooders! So, what are my options when it comes to braces and other orthodontic treatment? Let's find out. Buckle up, time for some PFOing so you know where you're going. I'm your local orthodontist answering questions about life and, of course, orthodontics. I'm the guy. Okay, today's teeth question is, what are my options when it comes to braces and other orthodontic treatment? There are a bazillion dental professionals in your area, possibly, depending on where your area is, and you're like, who am I gonna see for treatment? Well, my recommendation is that you find an orthodontist, a dental specialist who will be able to help you take care of your needs. You can talk to your dentist, you can talk to your friends who maybe already went through treatment with their kids, you can look online. Those three things are good places to start to find who you might feel comfortable working with for your orthodontic needs. Just make sure that when you go there, that they know what they're doing.
Doctor, isn't that incision a bit high for an appendix?
Another option that you might get early on is, do you want to do two-phase orthodontic treatment or one-phase? For those who aren't aware, there is such a thing as one-phase orthodontic treatment and two-phase. I said it the other way. Two-phase orthodontic treatment or one-phase orthodontic treatment. What this means, in two phases, okay, sometimes orthodontic treatment is split up into two different phases. One specifically when we have most of the baby teeth still in place, and then another following treatment or treatment that follows that involves more of the permanent teeth. Okay, so two phases versus one phase of treatment when you've decided to delay all treatment until most or all of the permanent teeth are in place. You know what? Sometimes there's more than two phases, but that's for the lucky people who stop wearing their retainers. It's like they just love going around and around and around the ortho wheel of fun. The reality is that all orthodontic treatment or all orthodontic needs can be managed in one phase at some point later in life. But the caveat is sometimes when you choose to delay or avoid any sort of early treatment, that might limit your options down the road as to how you address those orthodontic needs. For example, a narrow palate. This is your upper jaw. I mean, these are your upper teeth, and up here is your palate, okay? Sometimes the way that the bones grow are narrow, and they don't fit around, the teeth don't fit around the bottom teeth. You have what we call a crossbite. That type of issue, when dealt with early via palate expander, can correct the problem very predictably. If you decide to wait until you're teenager or early adult and later, sometimes additional treatment procedures are required, like screws and or surgery as part of the desired expansion. So, like I said, possible, but just maybe not the desired method. So in my opinion, when it comes to deciding between one phase and two phase, these different options, if you visit with your local provider and they suggest that all the growth patterns appear to be normal and your child doesn't feel like their teeth bother them, at least the way that they look, then just continue to wait. Monitor the growth and development and take care of the orthodontic needs in one phase. Okay, what about this option, orthodontic option? What if your provider says that you should take out teeth? Should you have your teeth extracted? I think it's important that first you understand why they're recommending you get teeth out. In my opinion, here are some good reasons for taking out teeth. One, severe crowding. When your teeth are all sorts of jumbled up in the front there, maybe a little bit in the back. If teeth that are really crowded are straightened out and made to look like this, sometimes that can lead to bone loss and gum recession that eventually will need gum and bone grafts to make it look better or to relieve any sensitivity as a result of the recession. Not always, but that's just a consideration. Severe crowding might be a good reason to get teeth taken out. Another good reason to get the teeth out is if you don't like the way that your profile looks. If you feel like it's too big, right? Lips come way out. Taking out teeth is a great way to bring our teeth back and bring the profile in. Relieves some muscle strain around the lips and the chin area. Another reason you might consider getting out teeth is to try and avoid surgery. Another reason why orthodontists might recommend teeth coming out is kind of related to the severe crowding. Let's say your teeth are really crowded, like this picture I found online. Notice how the canines on the very top, okay, the canines, all right, are in front of the lateral incisors. The lateral incisors are back. So the question becomes in this case is, could we make space enough to fit those crowded teeth in? Yeah, maybe we could. let's say that we'd have enough space to squeeze them in and not be at a huge risk for gum recession or bone loss because of all of that squeezing in that we just did. Well, that's a lot of space to create. Then you have to pull the tooth all the way forward into alignment, and then you have to do some other tipping movements to try to make the tooth look normal when it's pulled into alignment. So it could involve a lot of work. Sometimes extracting teeth, specifically identified teeth, can help simplify the process. So for example, if you decided that this was important with your provider and you took out those lateral incisors in the back of the mouth there, right behind the central incisor, if you took those out, then you can just imagine, well, all I have to do is line everything else up. Bada bing, bada boom. Again, that may not be the best choice. Sometimes the simplest and fastest route is not always the best route. Talk with your provider. One thing to recognize is that if you decide to take out teeth because your provider recommended it and you want to achieve some certain goal, one of the consequences or negative effects of taking out teeth, in my opinion, is a narrow smile. You don't have as many teeth in your mouth at that point, and so it's hard to make your smile look as broad. Another thing to note is that taking out teeth, it doesn't cause health problems, and orthodontists don't just take out teeth and leave spaces. So spaces will be closed, you'll be nice and healthy. Only people that will really know that you had teeth taken out are probably your orthodontist, parent, maybe your dentist. Look, if it's possible to keep all your teeth, by all means keep all your teeth. But if there's a good why for taking out teeth, give it some consideration. Which should I choose? Braces or Invisalign? Look at those options. Remember, no system is perfect. Front and back braces, Invisalign, they all have pros and cons, advantages and disadvantages. It's important for you to think about which advantages and disadvantages are most important to you. For example, is the advantage of cosmetic clear aligner more important to you than the disadvantage of having to always remember to put those in and keep them in for it to work? Or is the advantage of having braces glued to your teeth more important than the disadvantage of having to try and clean around them? Don't make your decision between braces and Invisalign based off of one thing. Try to think about everything. Cost, compliance, hygiene, dental history, what's the most severe orthodontic problem, appointment scheduling, missing school, work, emergency visits, eating habits. In summary, orthodontic options are plentiful, and the first step along your journey truly is find a good orthodontist. Once you find an orthodontist that you can trust, then you can start answering all those other questions. What are the options that are going to be best for you? All right, do-gooders, let's talk about options as part of our do good, live good section. So there's actually a real thing called analysis paralysis, where you have so many options, or the significance of the different options is so much that you don't make choices. Like you're paralyzed and you can't make the choice. You're just analyzing so much. Me personally, I don't like hearing that my options are limited. I prefer to, let's say, make my own options.
I make my own options.
We live in a fantastic world full of options. Is it important to think about our choices between options? Yes, it is. Otherwise, you might get caught up in the moment.
Brilliant move, Skipper. But now we seem to be outside the play. Well, kinda got caught up in the moment. Well, hindsight's 20/20.
If we aren't careful, though, we end up missing opportunities to make choices because we're so paralyzed by all the different choices and options. Sometimes we need to make quick choices, even if we aren't sure of the outcome. Who knows? Maybe you'll find out that you can run on water. Sure, we can make some bad choices sometimes. Hopefully not so bad that it limits us from making future choices. But from all the choices that we make, we can learn from those choices and develop habits of making good choices. A life full of choices made is definitely going to be more enjoyable than a life lived of choices not made. Does that make sense? So, savor the choices, study it out, and go for it. Then, of course, enjoy the happiness associated with making choices. All right, that's all I've got. Drink it up, just a little PFOing so you know where you're going. Packard out.